Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Why Are You an Entrepreneur? The Trials and Triumphs. I'm Maureen Edwards, the founder of 8 Simple Steps, and I bring this live show to you every single Thursday where I get to highlight the biggest rock stars in entrepreneurship, whether they're just starting their business or have been in business for decades. They have words of wisdom, tips, resources, and some gifts out there for all of my small business owners because we all know that entrepreneurship is hard, and I am working very hard to take the hard out of the process. So, welcome everybody. Tonight, no exception, every single week, I bring you something amazing. This person is incredible. She hails all the way from the UK. I have Karlene Hibbert. She is the chat queen. That's what she's known, Chatbot Queen, and her business is the Chatbot Queen. How appropriate, right? So, welcome, Karlene.
Thank you so much, Maureen. It's so amazing to be here. Thank you.
And I know we have a little bit of a delay because of where you're at. Your screen's a little bit blurry, but that's okay. I think you're going to probably be in and out with the technical stuff here. But I want to welcome you, my Chatbot Queen, and I always start out with, why are you an entrepreneur? Why are you taking on this endeavor? Because it's really hard.
Thank you. And that's a great question. Well, I wanted to be an entrepreneur because I wanted to be able to control my own life. When you're working for somebody, you're beholden to them. Whereas when you're working for yourself, you're beholden to yourself. Now, as you know, it's not easy, but it is rewarding. There is a lot of hard work that goes into it. And yeah, it is rewarding.
So, did you have a career prior to starting your own business?
Absolutely. So I'm a nurse by profession. So that's what I did for many years. And then I decided I wanted a break from that and I wanted to do something different. And I didn't actually get into chatbots immediately. What I started doing was email marketing, and I would do that for coaches, course creators, service providers who were actually running webinars. So I would build out a whole automation for them. Then I was in a coaching group, and that leader mentioned chatbots and said, this was 5 years ago, and said, learn this, this is going to be big. So I thought, okay, you follow your leader. And as I started to learn it, I realized how big it was going to become. And 5 years down the line, it has just come on leaps and bounds. It's just been really amazing to see what's happened and to see how AI is coming in as well. So chatbots aren't quite, some can be AI, but the ones that I build, you have to actually put the messages in. So it's not intelligent, but there are other chatbots out there that are intelligent. And it's just really, really amazing to see that. So I started out doing email marketing, discovered, and my clients were actually doing well with the email marketing, but you always want your clients to do better. And so then
this technology that you're doing, we're definitely going to investigate this together because I need you to share to small business owners this opportunity, because it absolutely blew my mind when I met you to see how far chatbots have come and exactly how you have gone in, and the way you do it is just so unique and so personalized. But my first question before we get into the nitty gritty of that is, what was so different about entrepreneurship that you found hardest when you started versus, being a nurse, being, that 9 to 5, exactly what to do, where to go, when to start. What did you find the hardest when you first started out?
Got it. Well, it's really interesting, Warren. I think that's a great question because when I went in bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I guess I didn't quite realize what I was in for. So I would say the hardest thing for me was finding the right person to work with or finding the right coach that could guide me. And unfortunately, this is just something that's trial and error. You'll try this person and you'll find that you're in alignment or not. And if you're not, then, you find somebody else. And for me, in the beginning, I would say that has been the hardest thing. And to some extent now, still the hardest thing. And as you progress in your business, then finding somebody that can move along with you and support you at different stages, support you appropriately at different stages of your business, and be able to see, oh no, Karlene's no longer here, she's here, this is the support that I need to give her. And it may be that you leave the person you're with and you find somebody else who's more able to support people at that stage that you may be at in your business. And I think the other thing that people find challenging, and I would say this may be the case at different stages in your business, is actually generating leads and finding which thing works for you, because everybody says their thing works, but I would say there's going to be a thing that you feel more comfortable with and works best for you. And when you find that, I would say stick with that. And I think one of the things we can do is do everything because we think we should, because we feel that makes sense, because we do more and then we get more leads. But I would say it's actually better to focus on 1, 2, maybe 3 different channels of lead generation, but definitely master one and use that to generate leads.
Such great advice here. Well, first off, I really appreciate the fact that you recognized you needed outside guidance, an outside coach. You didn't know everything. And while it's been a little challenging to find the right person, I appreciate the fact that you at least started out with that mentality, because I think a lot of small business owners think they can do absolutely everything, but you were smart enough to say, I'm really good at this, but these are the things I need some guidance with. And you recognized it early on. Now, having the wrong coaches are very, very common. And I say that, and why that hurts people is that if they get the wrong one, then they don't seek out somebody who could be the right one. So my question for you, is there anything that people can do to kind of do due diligence to find the right person that aligns with them?
Got it. Again, I would say it's a lot of trial and error, but having questions, asking them about the people that they've worked with, asking them not necessarily about their successes with the people that they've worked with, but their failures, because everyone's going to say, oh, I worked with so many people and they were all successful. And sometimes what I do is I say, oh, how many people do you enroll a month or every couple of months? And then they'll tell me, and then I'll say, what percentage of those people actually struggle?
Good question.
Yeah.
Great
And then
question.
I look at their response and I listen to their response, because I'm concerned that I may be the person that is the one that's struggling. And I want to see what your attitude is towards somebody who's struggling and how much help you're going to give them. Or if you're going to say, if you just going to fob them off and make them feel that it's their fault. Everybody learns differently. It's not one size fits all. So if somebody's struggling, it may just be that the way they're doing their program just needs to be tweaked a little bit for that person, then that person can excel. But I remember being on a webinar and somebody was teaching, I think they can't remember what they were teaching now. They were teaching LinkedIn, I think. And I asked this person, how many people struggle, or how many people don't actually complete the course? And this person became very defensive, and that spoke volumes for me. And I said, and how do you help those people? Oh, if they follow the process, they will be okay. So it was putting all the blame on them. And that was the decision that made me see this wouldn't be the person that would be the right person for me. Because I just thought, you can't, if you're teaching somebody something and somebody isn't as successful as they could be, you can't blame them. If they're not where your promise is, it just means they need help. It just means they need more help than they may be prepared to give. But that person's invested their money and their time in your program, so you should be investing your time and effort to make them be successful. So that's one thing, the questions that you ask, as you mentioned, the due diligence. And it's not always easy to do because you only see their successes. You don't see their failures, and they don't talk about their failures. And if they did, I would actually have more respect for them, because I know everything can't be 100% perfect. And if somebody's willing to be honest with me about that and not blame the person and not say, well, I did everything right, so they should be, and say, we do have people who are struggling and this is what we do, I would have a lot more respect for that.
That's a great question. I mean, I'm going to use that question. I hire coaches, right? We all should have a coach. People are like, you've built 6 businesses. Like, why the heck do you need a coach when you're telling everybody how to build their business? Everybody needs guidance. They need support. And I cannot tell you all the stuff I pick up from other people who own their own business that I can take and help people with. So we all need people out there. Okay, so let's talk about lead gen. Mm-hmm. The bottom line is, if people are not generating leads, they're not generating business. So absolutely. I can understand. I think that probably, if I was to draw upon the people who have been on here and the people I work with, the first thing they say is, I had a marketing problem. I can't get any leads in here. Right? That's the thing. And I always say it's not a marketing problem, it's a messaging problem. But once we get that done and you're still struggling with leads, then I think you're right. Maybe you're not going in the right places or using some of the right technology that could improve your leads. And this is what I love about what you do. So share to people what actual, building a chatbot for maybe a small business owner, because those are the people who are tuning in. Mm-hmm. Tell people what a chatbot would do for them in a small business to help generate leads.
Got it. Okay, so a chatbot, what is a chatbot? Let me explain that first of all. So a chatbot is automated messaging, and the chatbots that I build are usually in Messenger or in Instagram, and it's bite-sized pieces of messages, if you will, like you would get in a text, and it's actually a two-way conversation between you and your prospect, whereas email is one way. The email is sent and then you have to wait until that person responds, whereas with the chatbot, it's a chatbot, it's a two-way conversation. Now, depending on what your business is, it can be used in many different ways. So let's say you're a coach and you do webinars, virtual summits, masterclasses, etc. You can actually run Facebook ads and then instead of sending them to a landing page, send them to a chatbot, and the chatbot would actually register them for that event. Now, the advantage of doing that is that you're on the same platform. So you're on Facebook ads and you're going to Facebook Messenger. So because of that, you're actually getting more people taking the action that you want them to take. So you're getting more people actually opt in. Whereas when you're doing ads and then you're sending people to a landing page, you're sending them from one platform to another platform, and then you get a much higher drop-off rate. Whereas when you're sending them from Facebook to Facebook, so Facebook ads to Facebook Messenger, you get many more people actually opting in. Now, let's say you're running a webinar, you're running an event. Now you can use a chatbot to actually register people, or you can send people to a landing page and have them register there. And then on your thank you page, that's where the bot will come in, and the bot could say something, you can have a video saying, oh, click the button below. I've got an amazing bonus for you. It's in Facebook Messenger. Click the button to get reminders and get your bonus. So that's an incentive for them to go into the chatbot. And what I've seen there is about 60% of the people who come to that page will actually go into the chatbot. Now, with that, you can then send them reminders. Now, why do you want to send reminders in a chatbot? Well, the open rate in a chatbot is much higher than email. In a chatbot, it's on average 80%. So, yeah. Imagine 100 people have registered for your webinar, and you're sending out email reminders. With email, the average open rate is about 20-25%. So only 20 or 25 people are going to see that reminder, but 100 registered. So 100 have said, I'm interested. They've raised their hand and said, I'm interested in what you've got. But because the open rate is so low, not all of those people are going to see your email and open it. So then not as many people will show up. With a chatbot, the open rate on average is 80%. So again, let's say 100 people registered, now 80%, 80 of those people are going to see that message saying, reminding them about the event. So then more people are going to show up. Now it gets even better. The click-through rate with email on average is about 3 to 5%. But with a chatbot, it literally is 10 times higher. So
Wow.
on average, 30%. So you get more people. So you get 30% of that 80% actually clicking through and taking the action that you want them to take. So because of that, you can literally, people I've worked with have seen a doubling of their attendance, an increase of the stick rate, and then, that's actually enabled them to make more sales because you're getting more bums in seats, you're getting more people seeing your presentation, you're getting more people staying, so they hear your offer. So because of that, you're making more sales. So when it comes to events, that's what I specialize in. That's one way that you can use the chatbot. But
I love it. I love it because you kind of take the whole automation part and you've streamlined it, and it's like end-to-end solutions. And the whole idea is, who is my right fit audience? How do I reach them? But really, when I reach them, like, where do they go from there? Like, we have to kind of hold their hand and guide them. And that's what you're doing. Now, I have a question about, you have this company, it's incredibly successful. What you do is incredibly unique, and there aren't many of you, tons and tons of people out there doing this, which is why when somebody is, this kind of set the world on fire. What have you found to be the most challenging, though, in running your business? Besides finding a coach, what have you found? I would say, like, marketing wise, is there one thing for you that you've had difficulty with marketing?
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned something earlier, which I thought was really, really important. If you think of the big names like Richard Branson or Mark Cuban or any of those other big names, they have coaches as well,
Oh, yeah.
So they realize they can't do it alone. And I always think about Usain Bolt, the runner Usain Bolt, and he has a coach, and that coach has enabled him to go to the Olympics 3 times in a row and win nothing but gold.
You got to find the right one.
Got to find the right one, because I don't think that was his first coach, and I don't know if this is a second or third, but clearly this coach knew how to train him to win gold, and he won gold every single time, no silver and no bronze. So absolutely, even the big names and big people have coaches. So that's an example for us. We need to have coaches as well. Now, when it comes to the right lead gen channel, what I would say is try different ones and see which one you're comfortable with. Now, I had a coach that said to me, oh, you need to do lots of videos and you need to put lots of videos online. That didn't really align with me, but I did it because I thought I'll follow her process. It didn't work. Nobody really interacted with the videos, because if you're doing something that you don't enjoy doing, you don't do it well, because that's not your forte, you know? So I would say do different things and see which one works for you. And I would say I'm even trying to find which one is the best one for me. And, I think a few years ago I did Facebook ads, and that was actually not bad at all, because I would use my system to actually get people through. So they could literally see it in action, and they thought, all right, if I can get to this point, then if I can see that if I use this, it will actually achieve what I want to achieve for my business as well. So I would say definitely experiment. and see what works for you. So even I myself, I'm trying different things right now to see which one I'm more aligned with and the most happy with. So at the moment, I'm trying LinkedIn, and I have somebody doing Facebook ads because it's difficult to do everything yourself. And I'm also going to be doing a summit as well. That's another way to generate leads. So there are lots of different ways. Try them, see which one you feel the most comfortable with. And then when you find that, then just hone in on that, because you know that works for you.
And that's really good advice, because I think sometimes we doubt ourselves, and it's okay if something isn't working out. It's worse if you just keep going with the thing that isn't working out and you still keep getting the same results. So it's like, just pivot. Say, that wasn't for me. I'll try something else. We all know there's plenty of things to try to get in our groove. What has been your greatest success as an entrepreneur? I mean, we always talk about challenges, but I think we should also highlight successes so that you can share it with, other entrepreneurs out there. How have you been able to succeed at certain things? What's one success?
Got it. I would say what's helped me to succeed is my stick to itness. And I remember when I was learning how to drive, Maureen, and I was taking my test, and my instructor said to me, Karlene, don't worry, you are going to make mistakes, but don't worry about them. And that literally put me at ease. And I did my lesson. I thought I would fail, actually. I did my lesson. I saw the mistakes. I just brushed them off and continued, because I thought there's nothing I can do about them except learn from them and make sure when I turn the next corner, I turn it correctly. So, yeah. When you're in business, don't worry about making mistakes, because you are going to make them. And that's often how you learn. So see your mistakes not as a negative thing, but something that's teaching you something that you need to know at that time. And we've all made decisions that we think, oh, right, I wish I hadn't made that decision. But none of us has a crystal ball. It won't be until you've made the decision, you've taken the action, that you realize, right, okay, this wasn't the best thing and I'll try something else. But at least you know, right, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to try something else. Whereas wondering, oh, maybe I should have done that, or, remove that from your mind. Try it, see if it works. If it doesn't, if you fail, that's okay. And I heard a quote the other day that I loved, and it said, failing, when you make a mistake, you're not a failure. You only fail, or when you fall down, you're not a failure. You only fail when you don't get up again. And I love that, because I felt it was giving you permission to fail, to acknowledge that you're going to fail. It is part of life. None of us are perfect. We're all going to make mistakes. It's just about learning from them and moving along. And if you make a mistake, it doesn't mean, oh, I shouldn't be an entrepreneur. It is just life. Anything we do, it can be hard, and we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to learn from them, and we're going to move forward. Now, look at Richard Branson, look at Mark Cuban. If they just stopped when they had made mistakes, we wouldn't even know about them. But they didn't. They just learned from them, and then they continued. Then they moved upwards and onwards. So that's a real big thing. I want people to know that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail. It's not nice. Nobody wants to go around failing, but it is part of entrepreneurship, and it is okay. It's an opportunity to learn. Let's rephrase what a mistake is. And it's just an opportunity to learn.
And I think that we should rephrase the word failure. That's just a learning experience, right? Failing is a learning experience. And if you fail at something, no, I learned something.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
So tell me who your ideal client is, who you love to work with, that would be a perfect fit for you.
I really, really love working with people who are running events like webinars, workshops, masterclasses, or summits, anything that's virtual online that you need people to show up at, you need people to stay on, and then you want to continue making sales afterwards. And I like working with people who have already had their event running a few times, so that funnel is already built, because what the chatbot does is it complements the funnel that you already have. So I find I tend to get the most success for people who've already run their event a few times, and then I bolt on the chatbot and then they just sell. And I have a funny story for you. I had a client, and when I met him, he said, "I don't think you can do what you say you can do. I've worked with other chatbot people and none of them have ever received any results for, gotten me any results." But I wasn't fazed at all, because I knew what I could do, but I thought that was funny. And he said, "But that's okay. I'm going to give you a chance." And I said, "Okay. What's your goal? What do you want to achieve?" And his big thing was getting more people to show up. I said, "Yeah, I can do that." And the great thing about him was I was able to work closely with him. He already had his funnel. This is something that he'd run many times before. So I could gather all the things that I needed to do what I do. And then he ran the event, and he was in the States and I was in London. So when it was running, I was sleeping. And so when I woke up in the morning, I was excited to see if he had sent through any results. And the first thing he said was, "I'm impressed." And I thought, yay.
That's like a huge success. When I said to you, is there one success that stands out? This has to be the one if you're going to share a story like this, because there's nothing more that makes you feel so good when somebody's like, "I didn't expect much, I haven't had success, and he was expecting it not to work out and you really surprised him." But I'm not surprised at that, because I know who you are and what you do. And so I would like for you to share with how people can get a hold of you, because you just talked about who these ideal people are, and they need to reach out to you. How do they get a hold of you? And then I want you to share something special that's coming up in March. So what is your contact information first?
Okie doke. And if I may, if I can go back to that story, because it actually got even better. So he said, "I'm impressed." And then he sent me his results, and he said, "We have never gotten these results before. I more than doubled his sharp rate. The people stayed on his event longer." He says, "Nobody has ever stayed that long before." So I was really, really excited about that. So yeah, that's one of my favorites, just because he wasn't expecting it, because the experience that he had before wasn't that. Now, if you'd like to contact me, you can go to my email, Karlene at the Chatbot Queen. So there's a little alliteration there. So Karlene at the Chatbot Queen, that's my email. Or you can go to my website, which is thechatbotqueen.com. And I have a special event coming up, and that's going to be in March. And that's going to be a virtual summit, and it's going to be all about lead generation. And I have some really amazing speakers, including Maureen, yours truly. They're talking about lead generation, lead conversion, everything to do with leads. And I would love you to come along. So yeah, that's a special thing that I have coming up.
Awesome. In fact, I am putting it in the comments right now. Join us for a huge lead gen summit. And what was the date again?
It's the 9th of March.
March 9th. Okay, awesome. So that's going in. Join us for a huge lead gen summit on March 9th. There's the link. So everybody out there, please go ahead and join us. I am a speaker, and I've seen the speaker lineup. It is phenomenal. So please, if you want to generate leads, maybe you're having a little bit of difficulty and you want to learn from an unbelievable group of experts from all different types of campaigns, in marketing for lead gen, this is definitely the place place to be. So I'm very excited about it. So Karlene, will you come back another time and share with us how the Chatbot Queen is progressing in her company?
Absolutely. That would be my pleasure, Maureen.
And I would love to have you back, because if anybody is on the cutting edge of technology and can help small business owners, it is you. So I am saying to those of you who are watching right now, or you're watching the replay, please reach out to Karlene so you can investigate this new technology that she has really kind of streamlined and simplified, and more important, gotten results. And I think that's the big thing. We all need results. If you need to get a hold of me for any reason to help you eliminate the common mistakes, the complexity, and the fear and overwhelm of either starting your business, building it, or scaling, please just reach out to me at goldfish@8simplesteps.net, or you can go to my website, 8simplesteps.net. Of course, I'm on all these social media platforms. Send me a quick DM and let's chat about your business and see if I am the right person to work with. And believe me, Karlene, I will tell them if I'm not, and direct them to somebody who they may be better suited with. So
Absolutely. That's beautiful that you'll be that honest. That's amazing.
I am, because I want them to succeed. And like you said before, not everybody is everybody's flavor and can help every single person out there. So I want to wish you the best, and I will see you at the summit. Good night, everybody.
Thank you so